Hey, Damien here. So welcome again to the Baruch Ben-Yosef Wanted series. I missed something in that last video, but I caught it here before I went to the next page. I want you guys to read this bottom part. So, as Ben-Yosef has long been openly admitted prayer rights on the Aqsa Mosque compound, it's the first necessary step towards a total takeover of the compound and its transformation into an exclusive Jewish sacred site, in line with the Kahanist core of the temple movement. Again, the most extreme racist group you never heard of that was been an active group longer than I've been alive. They've been an active domestic terrorist organization for 26 consecutive years. They just did a major crime a few weeks ago, and their offshoot terrorist organization, the Kutch, and over in Israel. Changed into the Aqsa Yehudit. The members of the terrorist organization are now in the Aqsa Yehudit, which stands for Jewish Power. Okay, Jewish Power. And these guys they talk to our government, Republicans and Democrats. It's been going since 1948. Remember what started this, my quest for foreign aid. Why is it that every president always grants Israel foreign aid? Our presidents, they know what's going on. They know that this is not Christian stuff. They know this is not for a Christian. They know this. It's controlled. They're not corrupt. It's a design. Okay? We were born into slavery for these people. You guys need to understand that. Alrighty, so think about what we face when we boot those Arabs off the Temple Mount. We face a jihad with the entire Muslim world, Ben-Yosef said in 1993 of his efforts to take over the site for Jews. I'm willing to go for it because I know that that's what God wants. We have verses in the Torah that say any place we put our foot is ours, Ben-Yosef said in 1994. Walking is a conquest. These guys are very smart. They have crazy big balls to transport guns and cash on planes in the 70s and 80s and blow up buildings and kill people, but they also are extremely religious. And it gets worse. So the term JDL itself refers to the Jewish Defense League, founded by Meir Kahane in 1968, which has a long history of militant activity. The modern, often fragmented versions of these far-right groups are increasingly supportive of Trump's policies towards Israel and the Middle East. A Jerusalem district court judge upheld his 1994 detention after being shown evidence that he was a threat to public order and had threatened both Jews and Arabs. Do you guys get that? Another mistake that you guys have about me, because two people called me a Nazi, and I told them both, quote, a single thing I've ever said that makes you say that. Neither of them could. And nobody ever talks about me how, oh, so this is why you all of a sudden you care about Jews? Because, oh, I get it now, Damien. Now you're telling me things about Jews being persecuted by other Jews. This is not stuff that I knew a few months ago, guys. I learned this stuff just a few months. I didn't just wake up one day and be like, oh, I bet you there's mean Jews out there, blah, blah, blah. No, I learned that there's mean Jews that are mean to other Jews. Okay? They don't like Jews that are what's called assimilated, but I'll get into that in another video. The JDO regularly terrorized them using threats and intimidation. Their appeals fell on deaf ears. This is about the Alex O'Day case, by the way, guys. So the JDO regularly terrorized Alex O'Day with threats and intimidation. Their appeals fell on deaf ears. The FBI is said to have been more interested in harassing Palestinian Americans than combating the threat of violent attacks from Jewish terrorist groups. Now, remember everything in hindsight, how Jewish guys are getting released from prison and like the FBI is not doing nothing when they know they are. So Green and Manning and Fuchs, they were badasses. They were into almost anything. I wouldn't be surprised if the JDL members committed other kinds of serious crimes, Maxwell said. I remember the extortion in the Jewish community. In the mid-'80s, to support other clandestine activities, Ben-Yosef and Manning earned money by threatening to beat up Orthodox Jewish men who refused to grant their wives divorce under religious law. They had balls. They weren't intimidated by the FBI so much either. Maxwell recalled. Ben-Yosef called for a critical mass of Jews to seize control of the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound by force. Only if we are not nice will we get the mount. Trump administration stated support for Jews who demand the right to pray at the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound is a frightening measure of the Israelis' far-right influence in the White House. And I stuttered when I said, let me say that again. Trump's administration stated support for Jews who demand the right to pray at the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound is a frightening measure of Israel's far-right influence in the White House. Almost 35 years after the murder of Alex O'Day on U.S. soil, there's no sign that any of his alleged assassins will have to answer for the crime. Even worse, the U.S. government is now rewarding one of those suspects. Stay tuned for my next video. There's more.